An ICU nurse in a rural town who overcame multiple sclerosis. That's the story of my latest client to solve MS all naturally in just 6 weeks using the mind-gut immunity method. Lots of important lessons here. You're not going to want to miss this. Hi there, I'm Dr. Chanu Dasari, a surgeon who specializes in reversing gut microbiome dysfunction and autoimmune inflammation. My technique for reversing symptoms in as little as 6 weeks has helped thousands of patients over the years and is called the mind-gut immunity method. And if you would like to learn more, visit mgiclinic.com and request a discovery call. Now, in this upcoming video, you'll meet a nurse who lives in a rural town who was able to overcome her neuropathy, brain fog, weakness, and fatigue, all from multiple sclerosis. She was 60% improved at just 6 weeks and over 90% improved at 3 months. She saw such significant changes in her own life that she began to prioritize self-care to fulfill her unmet needs. Now, everyone who knows me knows that I very much appreciate nurses, so I was glad to see her do so well. MS can be a crippling disease that gets worse over time, so seeing victory stories such as these are very encouraging. So let's get started. Okay, great. Right before we started this, we were just laughing about a couple of things, right? So you're a nurse in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, and you don't live in like some huge town, right? Like you live in some
No,
really small
like
area
a
where,
moderate sized city, but it's
yeah.
not definitely not the biggest. Yeah. How like healthcare in Canada? Is that what you're kind of asking, or?
Well, the one thing we were talking about is like, you started as a regimen, right? And you did really good. And one of the things we were talking about was how hard it was to get some of these items, but you were able to get most of these things shipped, right? Like, no.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to find the majority of them on Amazon, but then the probiotic one that we used, that one had to get shipped. So that one took a couple weeks.
Mhm.
We don't have a, what's that good store you guys have? The
Walmart,
No, we have a Walmart.
Whole
No, no,
Foods.
no. Whole Foods, that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have that. If we do, it's only in like either like Toronto or Vancouver or something,
Yeah.
like the big cities. But so yeah, I couldn't just walk in and get that. So that took a little while longer to get started. But once I got that,
Yeah.
it was amazing. So that was really good.
Yeah.
Definitely felt better with that.
Tell
Yeah.
me, tell me how your life has improved. What are some of the benefits you've seen? What are some of the symptoms you've seen get better through this process? And we've been working together now, like we're in our third month, right? So yeah, tell me a little bit about what this process is like.
So yeah, big concerns that brought me in was like I've already tried to eat healthy, I already try to do healthy things, but I feel like I don't do them consistently enough, and I don't really, keep track of it or anything like that. So what helped a lot was what can I say here? Sorry, I lost my train of thought, but it was mostly um so things that brought me here was neuropathy. I was having a lot
Yeah.
of neuropathy. That was a big one.
And that was affecting your day-to-day kind of
It was
work, right?
because it was
Yeah.
bothering me, and I feel like some days it would be good, some days it wouldn't be, but it wouldn't consistently go away. And I felt like it was almost maybe slightly getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I wanted to join this and see what could be done about that. And then we ended up fixing that, which I was like, wow, this is crazy that there is something out there. There's a program,
fix.
there's supplements that can help you actually fix that, because that, like, I didn't want to go on like those kind of like neuropathy medications or anything because of side effects, and like I just feel like I didn't want to go that route. So I'm glad I figured that out. Brain fog was really bad before, just like
Yeah.
thinking was really difficult, keeping my train of thought, like having thoughts that I need just come up. Memory was an issue, so that has been much improved, especially with exercise and like keeping track of consistent sleep. Like that was an issue I struggled with, was sleep.
Because
It was really
you work
fun.
night shift,
Night
right?
shift work, 16-hour shifts, like it's a lot. So it's a lot. But now I'm trying to, switch it to be like more of a healthier lifestyle instead of just like a grind and make yourself sick kind of lifestyle. So I'm trying to step away from that, because you obviously feel better when you sleep well and you cook your healthy food and you eat it. Like, so
Imagine that.
it's, yeah, imagine that concept, right? So
Yeah.
That has been a kind of a game changer for me. Just kind of
So
slowing down, paying
neuropathy,
more
brain
attention.
fog, I heard fatigue. What else? What else?
Fatigue, yeah.
Weakness
Um,
was somewhat improved with
yeah,
working out.
somewhat
Yeah.
weakness, yeah. Um,
And I remember you
honestly,
saying, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I asked you, I said, I think I asked you last time we were on the phone. I said, what percentage of your symptoms
hmm,
are resolved? And this was at like the 6 or 8 week mark. I forget what it was.
yeah.
And and then, yeah. So tell me,
I
tell me.
feel like yeah, at that mark, I think I was saying probably about 60 or so percent. And
Mhm.
then now I feel like really, really good. I would say probably like 90+%,
Fantastic. That's
honestly.
great.
Like
That's a win.
I can't even believe it. It's so crazy that this like worked out. Like I was a little worried at the start. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this gonna work? I went to this program, and then now I feel so good
Because
on the other
I'm
side.
not the first doctor you were seeing for this, right? You saw a couple other doctors. You even thought
Well, I
about
saw
seeing.
like my like neurologist and everything like that. And like yeah, no, just like online trying to figure things out myself with like, like supplements and things like that, but nothing that really did a significant improvement at all. So like this is different because it's a whole like lifestyle overhaul, like
Mhm.
into like a healthy way. It's not just popping a pill or two. It's like changing your sleep, changing like your
Yeah.
exercising, and like tracking like what you're eating and making sure you're getting the right amounts, like all those things. So just
Yeah.
like a whole overhaul because like
And the first month's
obviously
a lot of work, right? It's like
yeah,
you're like, why am I sending pictures of my poop? And why am
yeah,
I
I was
texting my
like, oh,
doctor like six, seven
not
times a day?
my
Oh,
favorite thing to be sending, no.
I know, I know.
But
But
I
people
mean,
wonder why, or like, how do we get the results we do? But that's how we
yeah,
get them. It's not like from
yeah,
having this passive attitude about things. It's literally
of
about tracking
course.
every little thing every single day and checking in
Yeah,
with each other multiple times a day. And that's kind of how we do things.
yeah,
You
yeah. No, the poop thing's not the weirdest because obviously I work in healthcare. I'm a nurse.
know? I know. Yeah,
This is
yeah.
just
Nurses
part
aren't
of
scared of poop. Yeah, I know.
we can't be, or else we can't be nurses. So
Yeah,
yeah. But no, it's been amazing. And obviously I'm still like going on with everything. I'm gonna
yeah.
keep going with the program and
And
just
the cool thing
keep
about this
working at it.
program is you don't need me to do it, right? Like
No.
we were just talking about how there are some physicians out there, or even like, and we're not saying anything bad about naturopaths or functional medicine
Mhm.
guys, but there are people that really promote a lot of expensive supplements. And this is something you just mentioned, right? You had an appointment with one of these
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
So tell me a little bit about like what that is, because we don't use a ton of like super expensive stuff here, and it's not like stuff that I have even a commercial interest in, right? I don't even believe
yeah,
in selling my own supplements or anything crazy like that. But
yeah. I just feel like sometimes there could be maybe a bit too many, and like the prices are a little steep for regular people to be just
yeah,
have
like
like when you're
like
sick.
you said, $80 magnesium, right?
Well, like things like that. Like I feel like people that are ill, they're probably not doing double shifts all the time. They're probably tired. They're probably
Yeah.
not feeling their best. They're probably not working a lot. So I feel like it's just not the right way to go about it.
Yeah,
So
it's not sustainable. And yeah,
yeah,
the
exactly.
beauty of the program that I try to put together is I try to make it really accessible. So you can do it in like a rural area. I mean, I got people
Yeah,
I don't know, middle of Africa doing this program, and
yeah,
and
yeah,
even rural parts of Canada, I've got,
yeah,
and then because you don't need so many of these like supplements being ordered and things like that, or you
yeah,
can get stuff locally, it's not as bad. And then we were actually trading back and forth. Like, how many research papers were we sending each other? Like,
yeah.
hey, remember
A
this thing,
few,
or
yeah,
let's take a look at this thing. So there's kind of like a really nice
yeah,
internal dialogue that happens
yeah. No,
even
that's
after
good.
you've watched all those videos about how to
Hmm.
reverse MS naturally, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
lot of content there, and then we build on that content.
yeah. No, I'm very grateful I stumbled upon your stuff on YouTube. It was
Yeah.
didn't it was very unexpected. So
I got a
that was
question.
cool.
If you had to say one thing that helped you the most in this program, what would you say it was?
Let's see, probably like just like keeping track of everything, like keeping track of like I never really counted macros before, so keeping
Mhm.
track of that just to get an eye like opening of kind of what you're looking at what meals look like, yeah, probably mostly that.
Yeah, I would say tracking
Sleep
macros
schedule.
and
Yeah.
micronutrients are really important, right? For the
Yeah.
first, like
Mhm.
a lot of bodybuilders, they track macros. A lot of people in fitness, they
Yeah.
track macros. So these are like fats,
Yeah.
proteins, and carbs, macronutrients, right?
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
micronutrients are where most people are deficient, especially people with MS
Exactly.
or autoimmune disease.
Exactly.
We're deficient
Yeah.
in phytonutrients, so things like polyphenols, terpenes, alkaloids,
Mhm.
phyto oils, fiber. I mean, thiocyanates. I mean, the list goes on and on, right? There's about eight main categories, and to
Yeah.
kind of understand where those come from and how to sort of quantify them in a way,
Yeah.
and like, at first it's like kind of a manual process. You're like doing it, you're saying, hey, did I get enough of this food and did I get enough of this food? But usually by
Yeah.
about like week 3, you kind of have like kind of a just thought, like kind of a feeling of like, oh yeah, I had enough of that, I've had enough of this. And so then
Mhm.
you kind of develop a sense for what that is. And I
Yeah.
would say that's what separates our diet from a lot of others. It's one of the only few diets out there that we actually track micronutrients, which is like, that's
Mhm.
why you don't have to take all the crazy supplements,
Yeah.
right?
You're getting them from food, which
You're
is
getting
what
them
you're
from
supposed to
food.
be doing in the
You're what
first
you're supposed to
place.
be doing, right? I know, what a concept.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Exactly. So no, it's amazing.
that's good.
I Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most now that you're essentially symptom free? I mean, you're doing great. You're in healthcare, and you were just such a pleasure to work with. What are you looking forward to, like going forward? Like.
Um, I'm just looking forward to continuing to keep up with this, just to keep up with, the diet, the exercise. I don't want to fall off the train of that too much. Keeping up with keeping track of sleep, because I definitely
Mm.
want to keep that 8 to 10 hours. So definitely feel much better. It helps my thinking. So I think just having the knowledge, um, it just makes it so much easier to go forward, because now that you already know what you're doing, you just keep on doing it. So
Mhm. That's
just like
great.
keeping the motivation. Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone maybe with MS, okay, that is, just doing their own research, trying to figure out what to do? What would you tell them?
Well, for me, this program worked. So I like this program. I did try to do things myself. I didn't really get very far. I still had a lot of symptoms. I feel like I wasn't, if I tried a supplement or tried something, it was only temporary relief. So I found with this, I feel better and it's sustained. So I'm obviously going to keep up with it. And I don't know, I feel like this program is a great choice. And I don't know what else really. Take care of yourself mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then get rest, exercise, eat healthy, stop eating junk.
Yeah.
Things like that. I don't know, like
Get
those kind
better.
of things.
Yeah.
They're so simple, but they're easily neglected, right? So
Yeah, that's one
yeah.
of the things. I think most people with MS, most people with autoimmune disease, I'm in this boat myself.
Mhm.
We have a tendency to not fulfill our unmet needs. Like we have this giant list of unmet needs, and we've somehow like told ourselves it's okay that we're not like fulfilling them, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's okay if I don't get sleep. It's okay if I do like 3, 4 night shifts in a row. It's okay that I didn't hang out outside. It's okay that I didn't go to the gym. It's okay that I didn't hang out with friends. It's okay I didn't get
Mhm.
rest or eat healthy or whatever the case may be. There's this giant
Yeah.
list, right? Everybody's got this
Yeah.
list, right?
Yeah.
And so, and this list of unmet needs is like one of the things that we kind of like we started focusing on this last year because it's so pervasive. Like even when I fixed my autoimmune diseases, more than one, right? I had like 3 or 4
Yeah.
at the same time, 15
Yeah.
years ago. The disease goes away, but this sort of mentality, this idea that like, hey, like I can sacrifice my own needs for a prolonged period of time for literally no reason, and it's okay. It's a really messed up kind of an attitude. And I think just sort of coming back to the basic and saying, hey, no, I should get all this stuff done. And they are pretty basic. They can be as basic as like meal prepping. They can be as basic as reading a book. They can be as basic as taking rest or hanging out in nature or, like participating in some kind of
100%.
artistic endeavor, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But that matters,
Yeah.
right?
No, of
That
course. Of
matters a
course.
lot.
They're huge. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, everybody's just so busy right now because it's just how life is, right? So it's easy to neglect yourself. to get,
Yeah.
other things
We've
done.
told ourselves it's okay, I think is the problem.
Yeah, it's normalized. Yeah, being busy and like overworking and all that stuff. So yeah, it's I don't know, I feel good because I'm trying to take a step away from that. So
Yeah.
I feel like this is like turning a new leaf for me.
How do you think this has impacted your practice? Because you see really sick patients all the time in the
Yeah.
ICUs, and how do you think as a nurse this has sort of like changed how you're doing anything, or?
I just feel like,
And it's okay if the answer is no, right? But
yeah, I don't know. I feel
you're
like
dealing with like people that are really sick, right, in the ICU.
they're intubated. Like it's
Intubated, right?
yeah, I feel like if you're more rested and you're just feeling better, you can do better care, I guess. So
Maybe
there's
the
that.
self-care element has improved. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, I'm a huge fan of nurses. I think I told you this the first time I told you. So, as a surgeon, right, as surgical resident, right, the
Yeah.
nurses were everything, like, especially in the
Yeah.
ICU, like the ICU nurses basically prevented you from making a stupid mistake, right? They were the ones that like taught you everything you knew. You'd
We're
bring
always
them.
looking for things. Yeah. We're
Oh
always
yeah,
on high alert
you'd
for
have to bring
anything,
them. You bring
really.
them breakfast. You bring them lunch. You bring them coffee. Anything to get on their good side because they're the ones that are helping you, right? And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I told you I've got just this immense respect for nurses and just what you do.
Thank you.
And so thank you. And I'm saying that from the perspective of a surgeon, but also like a former resident,
Yeah. Yeah.
how much I've been helped in my career. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, thank you for this program.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this segment. And if you like my content, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you think this video will help someone you know, be sure to repost a link to this video. And as always, I'm Dr. Chanu Dasari with the Mind Gut Immunity Clinic. And let me know if I can help you out.